Ooh, we got some conspiracy theory stuff to go through. Nice. I love this. This one is hold up, let me quickly find the title. How Blackrock actually owns America and why they're poisoning us. Uh-oh. Seems like we found ourselves a fellow noticer. Let's see what he's got to say. Let me know if the audio is working properly.
There is a single company that controls the entire military industrial complex, the whole food industry, the oil and energy sectors, every plane, train, and most cars in America. They own the water utility companies, the hospitals, and the funeral homes. This one company that controls just about every other company and corporation in.
By the way, we gotta ask the questions of who's controlling this company. I already know who, but we'll see if he mentions it.
In the Western world. And today, I'm going to show you with publicly available open source information that's easy to find for yourself who this is and how we know it. We are, of course, talking about the Blackrock conspiracy. It's one of the most...
I think there's also a similar there's also a similar company, I think it starts with a V, that is also like Blackrock, but they're not as big. They do own large portions of a lot of things. Hello, hey, Creeper Chief, long time no see, man. How you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Vanguard, yeah, we go. It's Vanguard. That's the other one. The Star of French people. That's gotta be the funniest rendition of that phrase I've ever heard.
Widely known and also widely misunderstood conspiracies of our day. So today we're going to unpack the real Blackrock conspiracy. Hats, what do we really mean when we say that Blackrock owns everything? I've been doing this research for about 2 years now, and I think it's finally time to...
Hold up. Okay, I just wanted to make sure he wasn't being sponsored by Blackrock. Okay, it's safe.
Put it all together into one long-form video and lay out the whole
Chat,
thing
should I beat the
and unpack.
What? Should I beat it to AI art of Fem 9? That's weird, man. Why would you do that?
Who really owns the world?
Conspiracy theories are dangerous.
Information is the oxygen of a democracy.
It's so sick we can't
It's always a conspiracy theory until it's not. Just saying.
talk.
I remember seeing a meme of someone posting that they're actually running out of conspiracy theories because they all keep coming true.
So it was about 2 years ago on a Sunday that I was walking through my local supermarket thinking about how I just learned that tampons are full of endocrine disruptors and reprotoxic chemicals.
I wonder if this correlates to anything. Perhaps some tism? Perhaps just, you know, all the craziness in today's society? I wonder. I'm doing good. Sorry for the delay. Someone's asked me something. No problem, man. Glad you're here.
I just started a TikTok account 2 months prior, dedicated to researching and learning about how the world works, and
Maybe that's what happened to Katyusha. Maybe someone should check on her.
had just done a report on tampons, and it's insane. Somehow it's just accepted
Absolutely
medical practice
lying.
of today that once a month for several days, women just stick a chemical soaked sponge into one of the most sensitive mucous membranes on their bodies, right next to their uterus and ovaries and all that. They basically inject themselves with a whole cocktail of chemicals well known to damage reproductive organs and dysregulate hormones and cause cancer.
I wonder if this correlates or even causes the extremely high levels of different mental illnesses and other defects at birth that have been absolutely soaring in the last couple of years. I sincerely wonder if this is related. If not the sole cause, definitely something that adds to it.
Researchers found glyphosate at 40 times the legal limit for drinking water. They found arsenic, lead,
Arsenic of all things.
cobalt, mercury, and
What's next, asbestos?
cadmium, among many other chemicals and heavy metals.
Isn't cadmium radioactive?
My comments on the last video that I had made about the topic were flooded with stories of women saying that when they switched to organic cotton tampons or to Diva cups, their periods became way less painful, way less intense, basically overnight. And then, of course, there was a bunch of free bleeders just getting wild in there too. It was total anarchy. But I'm in the grocery store and I have this epiphany that seems really simple to me now. Like, I wonder if there are any organic cotton tampons in this grocery store. So I go to the tampon aisle and I take some photos of the selection available. And little did I know that those
Why is there so many brands? I don't even know this. I don't even go to these aisles.
tampons, these ones right here, would change my life. Like, no joke. That tampon aisle quite directly led to me going on Joe Rogan and hosting the Candace Owens show and sitting here now talking to you.
Bro looks sus half looking at the yes. Imagine you walk into a store, you see a guy like this just taking pictures of tampons. Like, would you what? And then apparently it altered his life forever.
God works in mysterious ways.
Yes, amen.
Because I discovered what we all already kind of know is that in most grocery stores, there's actually very little choice.
What do you mean? You've got like 20 different brands here. Okay, well maybe because I live in Africa.
Even when it looks like there are so many different brands to choose from.
Can you react to Popstar by someone please on YouTube? Sup Kanye Block. If you want me to react to something, join the Discord and paste it in the reaction suggestions channel. I will look at it and react to it. It's as simple as that.
Of the whole tampon section in that store, maybe
Yeah, it's near the bottom of the Discord channel list. Pop it in there.
5% or less of the shelf space was devoted
And then I will get to it this week.
to organic, natural cotton tampons that didn't have poison in them. They were hidden way off in the corner out of sight. That's the blue section way over on the right. The bulk of the aisles was colorful boxes from all the big brands advertising Sport Fit and Freedom Flow and Comfort Care and just all sorts of made-up menstrual buzzwords. Colored here in red, orange,
I'm learning a lot about this today. Woo.
yellow, and pink. But turn the packages around and read the ingredients, and they're all
Hey, Fasali, how you doing, man? Welcome on in. I see you there in the kick chat. Fellow based tuber.
all the exact same product. A synthetic plastic-filled Frankencloth with PFAS and bleach and other toxic chemicals laced all throughout.
Hold up, bleach? I think we have finally found the root cause of the Karentocracy, people. I think it's right here. Damn, maybe I need to switch to Kick because that's what the homies at. Well, currently we got at least 2 homies in the Kick chat. But yeah, I remember the last stream that I did. It was basically no one in the Twitch, and there was like 10 people in the Kick chat. Apparently, you guys just like the Kick chat more. I'm going to the homies. All right. I need to after the stream, I need to take Fasala's advice to set up the Kick chat so that it appears inside of my OBS window. That way, I can read all of you guys together. And then what I can do is also import a browser source into my OBS so that the Kick chat actually pops up on stream next to the Twitch chat. Howdy Meg, I'm just here cause no ads, wheeze, but I shall sub here so you get more dosh. Appreciate it, thanks guys. So for those of you who don't know, Kick takes half of my sub money. Sorry, Twitch takes half of my sub money, and then Kick only takes 5%. So if you ever do want to, help me out, not required, but if you do feel generous, consider doing it on Kick. It is much better for me as a content creator. Additionally, I don't get charged any fees or taxes when it comes to Kick. Like for Twitch, you have to pay for conversion fees, for bank transfer fees, because it has to go through like 3 different banks, and you name it. With Kick, it literally goes straight to my bank account on the 1st or 2nd of every month, so it's a lot easier for me. Well, before I hung out in Twitch, because no one was in this one, yeah, it seems everyone's moving over to the Kick chat.
Just kidding. You actually can't read the ingredients because
You should be big brain and just open me up on 2 tabs, one for Kick and one for Twitch. That way I can double the viewership. It's big brain time, guys. Come on. Help me get to the big leagues.
tampons aren't required to list their ingredients on the box, so trust the science, right? But you have dozens of choices of size and fit and flex and just about anything else except
What does flex mean? Okay. I'd do that, but I'm on mobile saddies. Understandable, man. I appreciate it.
whether or not you want to poison your reproductive organs and disrupt your hormones. That option came in a tiny blue box hidden way up high in one little obscure corner. And
I'm apparently subbed, but it's hard to tell on Kick. You're not subbed. I know because I checked yesterday who's currently subscribed, and it is Smugalana Simp, and it's Asunder Cobra. Those are the 2 active subscriptions I have on Kick at the moment. Also, if you do subscribe, just let me know in the chat. I don't know if the notifications are working. That way I can at least, give you a nice thank you and a shout out on stream. I don't have the option to sub, only gift. That's kind of weird. I don't know, maybe Fasali can help you out there in the options.
And if I had to guess, I would think that it probably accounts for less than 1% of the grocery store's tampon sale.
It could also be that you have a gifted sub that a Sunderkurba got you.
I even discovered that one of the brands, Stay Free, which is highlighted here in pink, is owned by Energizer, the battery company.
Why does battery company make these products? That's the real question. What are the battery companies that are dealing with all these toxic chemicals making this stuff? I'm thinking that's the case. Yeah, it could be. I don't know myself, but whether you gift a sub or just sub yourself, there isn't really a difference. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's basically the same thing, because unlike with Twitch, I think, where you get an ad-free experience, as far as I'm aware, on Kick there just aren't any ads. But regardless, I still get supported by the same amount.
I'm serious. This happened all the way back in 2013, and I'll bet that basically no woman that buys Stay Free knows that she's buying from a battery company.
Why would they buy that? Of all the things to buy, why would they buy that?
Like, they should make their sizing named after battery sizes if they're gonna do that. Like,
can you imagine going to the store, seeing on the shelf, trying to pick out for your lady between AA and AAA?
You can just get your AAAs or your AAs or your super extra heavy flow tampons. Anyways, once I
to charge up the woman, yes,
looked up who owned all the mega corporations that were selling these tampons, I learned that they're all owned by the same shadowy financial cabal, foreshadowing the first layer of the Blackrock conspiracy theory. And we'll get into the whole thing in just a minute. And yes, for all the finance bros out there, don't worry. We know about beneficial ownership and what fund managers do. That is a part of this story. And for everyone jumping out of their chairs to say, like, BlackRock doesn't actually own any of those shares, don't worry. We will get to that layer in just a bit.
All right.
But first,
it is
I
always
became
the Patriots.
obsessed, and I started doing this in every aisle of the grocery store. Color.
BlackRock and Vanguard. Okay, so he does mention Vanguard. That was the other company that owns basically a lot, and some random Italian company. Whew.
Bring in which
Italians
colors,
are saving America.
which items on the shelves were owned by the general mega corporate blob, and which ones were founder and family owned, etc. I did shampoo and deodorant.
Where's the colors? I want to see colors.
And baby food. And I found out that some aisles are even worse than the tampon aisle. There are plenty of aisles in your grocery store where every single...
Oh, man. It's everything.
Single option is owned by the same singular mega corporate mass of just banker money. It's not just BlackRock. There's a whole rabbit hole that we're about to go down.
BlackRock's just the biggest one.
The shampoo aisle at Target. To this day, it's probably my most viral video ever. There are whole aisles at Target where every single product is sold to you by the same bankers. And a bunch of these shampoos and conditioners are in class action lawsuits for causing hair loss.
Bald gay. So, maybe, just maybe, if Asmongold didn't take the one shower in that one stream, he would have still had his hair. Just saying. And Bald get true. They rarely own outright. BlackRock and Vanguard usually have controlling majority stakes in these companies, which is as good as ownership. Caught. Yes, you are correct in that.
And one even faced accusations for making people's hair catch on fire.
Wait, their hair catch on fire? Have they been playing with the ingredients from Schedule 1? That's unironically an effect from Schedule 1. They put both holes blast into somebody's shampoo. Now they're balding and their head's on fire. The only banking conglomerate I like is Cess Merchant Guild. Cess the real one. Asmongold, yes.
That's a true story. You can look it up. Those very same companies, though, they market hair regrowth.
Go see that girl. What? Wait, no, that's the wrong one. What was it? This girl is on fire. Go sing that whenever she puts on the shampoo and her hair starts getting satellite. Well, Seth's Merchant Guild is just the tribe also called.
product right there in the same aisle from the same company. Problem, solution. Baby food and baby formula was even worse, because not only are there entire grocery stores where your only options are all owned by the same banking money black hole, but then I discovered this report written by the House Oversight Committee about toxic heavy metals in.
Oh wow, so this is why all of the kids are retarded. Interesting. I'm noticing patterns, guys. Maybe the astronomical levels of TISM and LGBT nonsense is because big corporates putting poison in your tampons and baby food.
Baby food, featuring all the brands that I had just been researching in the baby food aisle. Because all of
This is some Kershaw levels of glow right here.
these brands that are featured in this report were the ones owned by the banking cartel megacorporations. There were way too many messed up findings in the report
But it's
to cover them all
Tribe.
here. And I would say that you should go find this report for yourself.
I'm
but
never
when I was
visiting
getting
America caught. Unironically, I agree with you. As much as, you know, it seems like a nice place, I wouldn't dare touch the food there. Or just any sort of consumable ever. It just sounds dangerous.
ready for this video and check back in on this report, it had been mysteriously taken down off of the government site where it had been hosted. So
I wonder who could have been behind that.
kind of weird. You can probably go find it on archive.org though, I would imagine. But just to get
I'm actually curious about South African stores. You just need a good old-fashioned Gator burger, Kona? No. I do not want to buy a burger that's basically owned by Blackrock. Thank you very much.
give a summary, the report lists levels of various heavy metals that
91 times the arsenic level, and 177 times the lead level, and 69 times the cadmium level. What? That is not just like a little bit of an oopsie daisy right here. This is astronomical. Locally and ethically sourced gator burgers here. Yeah, and I bet the gators actually eat Blackrock owned food too. It feels like the corporals over there make people retarded intentions that won't have future competition. It's not just about having competition in the business sphere, but it's also manipulation of politics. If the people are too retarded to spot out the government's BS, then they won't be able to do anything about it. So it's probably like this by design.
were determined by
But it runs a lot deeper than just, removing business competition.
the FDA to be acceptable in food products. And then it goes on to
True.
say, quote, the test results of baby foods and their ingredients eclipse those levels.
And you wonder why you find some rando in the middle of an African desert who's eaten nothing but homegrown food and food caught out in the wild in the middle of Timbuktu nowhere, who is got like 120 IQ. He don't speak English good, but he's perfectly healthy and he's going to live to 105. And all of his kids have no autism or any of the other mental defects that everybody has over there in America, and nobody's obese. And you wonder why. Yeah, lots of lobbying, getting regulation plays to pull the ladders underneath them. Yes, that is true. But it's not just for pulling the ladders from underneath him to squash small and upcoming businesses from taking a piece of their profit share. It's also for other spheres, in the political landscape that they also do it with.
Including results up to 91 times the arsenic level, up to 177 times the lead level, up to...
This is probably why, just as a conspiracy, this is probably why a lot of, especially public schools, do not teach any sort of financial literacy whatsoever. Because the banks know that the more you know about financial literacy, the more the people are going to know that they're getting screwed over, the more they're going to lobby for regulations to screw the banks over. So it's intentionally lobbied for the education system to be changed to suit the needs of the big corpa. Just saying. I think that's what it is.
69 times the cadmium level and up to 5 times the mercury level. As in, yeah, you are reading that correctly. Some of these baby foods were testing at 177 times the acceptable level of lead in baby food. Not 177%, 177 times. That is 17,700% the legal limit of lead.
Yeah, so it's not a little bit of oopsie daisy where it's like, okay, it's like 20% more lead than what's actually allowed. No, this has gone far beyond the point of negligent negligence or even incompetence. This has crossed into the line of maliciousness and intentionality. There's no ways you can screw up that bad on accident.
Lead in baby food.
And it's not just with one compound either, it's several, and in multitudes of products.
And we wonder why we have a chronic disease epidemic. This is
See, he's noticing. But how far does his noticing go? That's a
in
real
the
question.
baby food, folks. It's babies. It's not even the regular food. But I didn't stop there. I looked up everything from detergent to cereal. Remember, colored in red means it's owned by the same banking cartel, most notably Blackrock and Vanguard and State Street. We'll get to that in just a minute. I did sauces, ice cream, dressings. Some types of products had more variety than
I wonder if this also has to do with the fact that you guys pay astronomical amounts just to buy food. Like some of you guys paying 5, 6, maybe even 10 times the price we pay for food down here. Just saying. Food inflation over there is real. No wonder everybody got mad when your price of eggs went up. You couldn't even afford them in the first place.
others. Some aisles had a lot of family and founder-owned brands to choose from. But in the end, you start to realize what many of us all already kind of know, but have never quite visualized. All of our abundance, all of our foods and drinks and soaps and lotions, everything else. Thousands and thousands of brands to choose from. But it's actually all owned by just a handful of mega corporations.
Yep. And who owns them?
And now this is where we peel back the next layer of the onion. Because if you wanted to know who owns any given product, like say Hidden Valley Ranch dressing, which is one of my favorite examples,
I bet he likes it because of all the lead inside there.
you can search that on the internet for yourself.
Also, based fellow Brave user. I recommend everybody use it. I'm using it right now.
This is what
However, do be mindful that when you close Brave, it saves your tabs. And so when you open up Brave again, it's going to go on the last tab you had open. Hence why we had the Swastika jump scare a few days back. The Minecraft villagers IRL. Ooh. Interesting theory.
what I was doing for every single product on those grocery store aisles.
Bro, have you seen how much gems they charge you for bread? It was like 12 gems for a loaf of bread. No, they're scamming you.
Shelves,
Tasty
and
lead.
it took forever. So you search that, and you'll find out that Clorox owns Hidden Valley Ranch dressing, which
Why does Clorox immediately sound like someone that sells chemicals that you use in your bathroom? You can disable that feature in settings? Oh, I like that setting. I just need to be mindful that it exists.
is a bit alarming and not exactly
But
what you were
appreciate the
probably
info.
hoping to find. And no,
Wait, Swastika, what did I miss? Oh no, he wasn't there. Okay, so I was before I started stream, I was busy watching AMVs of music videos, and that's normally what I do. I let YouTube play an autoplay with music going in the background. And so one of the songs that was playing, and that was the last song that was playing before I closed it, was the anime Wehrmacht AMV. And so that shows scenes both from Tanya the Evil and from Hellsing Ultimate. And so the first, 2 seconds of that video is basically a giant swastika flag. So when I opened up my browser on stream, there was just a giant swastika in the background that I had to quickly close because I forgot that I left that tab open. It was so funny, man. Someone actually clipped it. If you check the Clips channel, you can actually see it. It keeps on happening. It's an accident every time, trust me. I'm not that type of German, okay?
notice that this is old news too. Clorox acquired Hidden Valley Ranch in 1972. They've been making the ranch since before most of you were born. But then, the inquisitive mind might ask, who owns Clorox?
Bum bum bum. Not beating the middle tab allegations with that one card. Oh no.
And the answer is that Clorox is a publicly traded company. I like to call it a mega corporation, but it just means that they sell shares and your finance bro buddy on Wall Street Bets can YOLO his fat bag into the stock and hope it goes to the moon. And this means that Clorox is owned by its shareholders. So, who are these shareholders? If you want to know who owns a public company, like Clorox, the phrase you need to search for is institutional ownership. Because while your buddy who trolls Wall Street bets for the next short squeeze might be able to buy some shares, he's really just a tiny little germ compared to the big boys, the banks. So you're looking for the top institutional shareholders. And for Clorox, it's all these guys.
Vanguard and Blackrock. Yep.
Vanguard, Blackrock, State Street, Geode Capital Management, Morgan Stanley.
If I had a nickel for every time Fox had a sus tab up, I had 2 nickels, which is a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. If you were here for every stream, it would have been more than twice. Just saying.
FMR is Fidelity. Stifel Financial Corporation. They're not a common one.
Also, what's up with the Royal Bank of Canada? As far as I'm aware, Canada doesn't have any royalty.
Citadel Advisors, Royal Bank of Canada, Champlain Investment Partners, LLC. Collectively, just quick math, looks like these top 10 owners collectively own about 35% of the company. And that's pretty typical.
That's when it was an
The more of this research you do,
yep, that's like a fifth of the company, which is probably more than anyone else collectively. So their combined stakeholder share probably gives them a lot of sway when it comes to the direction of the company.
the more you realize that these sheets always seem to look the same. Dave's Killer Bread, not owned by Dave. Sorry, it was bought by Flowers Foods, a mega corporation, and they're owned by Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street, plus a bunch of banks and fund managers. General Mills, JP Morgan, Norfolk Southern, American Waterworks, top owners, Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street, highlighted in red, plus all the banks and financial institutions and investment firms making up the rest of the lists. You start looking at entire industries, and you realize that the same is true for
They
all
killed
of the
Dave.
big-
Damn. This reminds me of the one theory that I heard from a very reliable source that Monty Ohm, the guy who created Ruby, was actually assassinated, and then his IP was then stolen by Rooster Teeth. And that's why after season 3, everything goes bad. My hot take, my personal favorite tinfoil hat theory.
biggest corporations in every industry, like
Corporate
food and
wanted his
beverage,
money.
banking, big tech. Each of those images collaged together is an individual ownership sheet like the ones we were just looking at for Clorox. And highlighted in red on each sheet are Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street, almost always the top 3 spots, i.e. the top 3 shareholders.
Remember, that's a fact. Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure I can't say that on a live stream without getting sued if they ever see this.
Same is true for the oil
Allegedly, they killed him.
industry and for the green energy industry, even literally for hospice, funeral care, and cemetery homes. They're buying those too. Because if you're going to make money poisoning people right out the gate in the baby food, I mean, why not also?
Can you imagine the correlation between that? You buy up shares in baby food, you poison the babies, and then you buy shares in the funeral business to make money for when the babies die so you can make money off their deaths. Wow, it's full circle. You're basically making money on the entire process. You're squeezing cents out of people from being born, living, and dying. As far as I know, Canada considers the UK royal family as sovereigns of Canada. Well, no wonder they're so paused.
Also make money when they die, right? So, as I did all this research across basically every industry in the economy, I found the same major thing over and over and over again. It's a big club, and we are not in it. So naturally, I got curious just how much of the stock market of all the publicly traded companies do BlackRock, Vanguard, and State.
That reminds me. Didn't Rooster Teeth dismantle for poor working conditions for active employees? Yes. And if I'm not mistaken, they had to sell off the IP rights of Ruby. But speaking on this, do you know what's funny? Is that because, South Africa is South Africa, most people here are pretty dirt broke. But surprisingly, in the middle of random suburbs, like you'll see like a whole bunch of shacks, maybe some one-story suburb houses, and then you'll randomly come across a mansion in the middle of nowhere, owned by some boomer white guy. And I have to ask myself, you don't even know who these people are. Their name isn't even public on anywhere, and they're hoarding cash like nothing. I'm starting to wonder, maybe we got some BlackRock members here in South Africa. Because I remember I had a friend in high school, hottest girl in school, by the way, really pretty. So anyways, I remember talking to her one time. She mentioned, her family was well off. And then I visited her for the first time. Oh boy, well off was an understatement. They had like a 3-story house. They had a jacuzzi and a heated pool and a basement cinema. Hello, what? Hello? Where'd you people get this money from? And I never see your parents work, by the way. Whenever I see your parents on maybe a random Monday, they're in the casino gambling. I'm fairly certain that these people got stocks in Vanguard or something. What kind of security though? They have electric fences, electric gates, cameras. I think they've got infra sensors. I don't know. They've got like 3-meter high brick walls, compete with razor wire and those fence spikes. Mad security, as well as it's armed and protected by like a security company as well. So So hey man, these people, woo! I'm telling you now, they got their hands in a whole lot of cookie jars. Ah yes, fellow professional gamblers based. First time I ever went into a casino was when I was looking for her parents. Just saying.
State Street actually own. Like,
they could have won in gambling, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they're rich before they went gambling. And all of those VIP hotels and secret elitist meetups, yeah, her parents are always there. Like several times I've been asked, hey, do you want to go to the movies while my parents are out having a meeting? I'm like, yeah, sure. I never really thought about it until now. I'm like, yeah, maybe your parents are like, they got their fingers in some of that Blackrock pie. Maybe, you never know. Because they're suspiciously wealthy for stay-at-home parents that just, gamble all day.
how big is their share or slice of the pie? So I took the top 100 companies on the US market, companies that you're very familiar with, like Tesla, Pfizer, Starbucks, Verizon, Lockheed Martin.
Okay, I know Tesla and Starbucks because everybody talks about it. First time I went to a casino while I was on a cruise and got kicked for being underage. Hey, at least you gotta keep on a cruise. That's nice. Kick keeps crashing. That might be you because according to my OBS, everything should be running perfectly fine.
Home Depot.
Hey, Home Depot, that's where we go buy rope.
Normal company.
Wait, is that a boba? Hold up. I need to zoom in. Does that say a boba? Oh, it's Adobe. Oh, okay. I thought it said a boba. My bad.
The big ones.
No,
The top
my
100.
app is. Oh, rip.
And I built a giant spreadsheet that scraped their stock ownership information live off the web and into my charts. And then I used all that data to build this sheet showing what percentage of the top 100 companies in America are owned by each of these investment firms, banks, and billionaires. And even though I had already been doing this research for months, this kind of shocked me. Vanguard, Blackrock, and State Street combined represent more than $5 trillion invested in the top 100 companies.
Out of what, though? I want to see ratios.
On the right of this chart, you can see that collectively, that represents 42.2% of all the shares of ownership in the top 100 companies.
That's
if you
huge.
expand your scope to the 25 biggest financial institutions, they collectively own 83% of the shares.
That is huge.
83%. This is just the top 25 biggest financial institutions.
And this is just American companies, by the way. What about countries in other... Not countries in other countries. What about, like, businesses in other countries or just international businesses? Maybe they got their hands in those cookie pies, too.
There are
Cookie
hundreds
jars
of them
cookie pies.
above us on these lists. So now, it's important to slow down and explain what a share actually is. Like, what does it represent? What does it mean? Because a lot of us think of shares of stock as something nebulous, like a form of gambling for white guys in suits, and
To an extent.
kind of, but a share is way more than that. A share is a share of ownership of a company, and it's a share of the voting rights for how that company is run.
Remember what I said earlier about them having a whole lot of influence and sway of the direction of where the company goes because of how much shares they own? Yep.
Because in a sick way, all of these companies are actually run democratically, except that you buy your votes. Like, the more shares you own, the more votes you get. So if you own 10% of the shares, you get 10% of the voting rights. It's actually pretty simple. You don't vote on every tiny little thing the company is going to do, like what color the packaging will be or how many Cheerios go into a box, but you vote on the big things like major policies that the company is going to adopt or reject. Shareholders can introduce their own items for voting. In the 2010s, one of the most popular ones were like various versions of sustainability initiatives like eco-friendly packaging, zero emission
Yeah, how come I've never seen a lot of that since a couple of years ago? I wonder why. Probably because it died out.
and commitments, stuff like that. Almost every company in the American market was voting on those sorts of initiatives over the last decade, and there is a reason why that we will get to. But most importantly, shareholders vote on who will sit on the board of directors, and they are the ones that guide the company and hire and fire the executives that actually run the company on the day-to-day, like the CEO, CFO, COO. It's a lot of C names. Those guys are called the C-suite because they're all chiefs, you know? So
Makes sense.
the C-suite, are hired and fired by the board of directors, who we elect with our shared voting rights. And all of this is determined by shareholder voting. The more shares you own, the more votes you get. You see where this is going yet?
Conspiracy theories are
Wait, what? Is that the end of the video?
Information is the oxygen of a democracy.
What do you mean? That's not the end of the video. It's only halfway. Where's the rest of the video? What? Nani? Who called me a hurt chief? Oh, he did.
With progressives, with libertarians, because this is not about right and left. This is
Is it just me or do I feel like that ended abruptly? I thought it was we had like no another half an hour. Oh,
about
okay.
right and wrong.
Okay then. Well, that was a good video. I'll toss him a sub. You know, toss a sub to a Witcher.
It's so secret we can't talk.
Rewind it back.
Is that
Rewind it back to where? It looks like yeah, he covered everything. That's the whole video, I guess. Where do you want me to... Where it just ends? Right here.
See where this is going yet?
Do you see where this is going yet? And it just ends. I thought there was going to be more. Blackrock took half the money. Yep. Blackrock stole half the video. I guess the lesson of the video is that we shouldn't eat the rich. Yeah, the rich are eating us. Well, they're poisoning our food. Weird game. Oh well. Maybe that was just all they put in the video. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a part 2. Either way, do peep the Discord for the link as usual because my paste doesn't work. Big clappies, boys. Since it might be made with their chemical products. Yeah, good point, good point.